The alien threat rises. Far away in a dark corner of the galaxy, a powerful alien empire was rising once again. It was known as the Bravery Empire, a race feared by many planets. They were not just strong, they were cruel. Wherever they went, they left destruction behind. The Bravery didn't believe in peace or friendship. They only believed in power and control. The Bravery had already conquered hundreds of star systems. They had forced many species to serve them as slaves. Anyone who fought back was destroyed without mercy. Their fleet was large, their weapons advanced, and their leaders heartless. At the center of the Bravery Empire sat their main war council. Inside a huge dark chamber, the High Commander, Veltor, stood before his generals. His skin was like black steel, and his eyes glowed red. He raised a long metallic hand and pointed at a hologram of a small blue planet. This world is called Earth. The alien generals looked at the image with interest. One of them, Commander Jarek, spoke. "Are they a threat, my lord?" Veltor laughed coldly. "Humans. They are soft. They have no place in the stars. Their people still fight over small things. They are divided, weak. They do not belong among the stars. It is time to crush them before they grow." The order was clear. Prepare the fleet. Earth will be taken. Soon, giant Bravery ships left their homeworld. Thousands of them moved together like a dark wave, heading straight for Earth's solar system. Each ship was armed with deadly weapons, and every soldier was trained to kill without question. As the fleet traveled through hyperspace, many Bravery soldiers joked about the mission. "This will be easy," one said. "Like crushing bugs." Another laughed. "I heard they still use metal bullets." But not all were so sure. One young officer, Tarnak, looked uneasy. He had studied human history. He had read about their world wars, their survival, their fast progress in technology. "Commander," Tarnak said to Jarek, "what if we're underestimating them?" Jarek growled. "You dare question the strength of the Empire?" Tarnak lowered his head. "No, sir. I just think humans adapt quickly. They're different." But his warning was ignored. Meanwhile, in deep space, near the edge of Earth's territory, a small Bravery scout ship moved ahead of the main fleet. It was scanning human space for signs of defense. The scanners showed little: some satellites, a few small stations, and one or two defense ships. Weak, not a threat. The scout captain sent a report back to the main fleet. "Earth is unprepared. The invasion will be easy." Back on Earth, people had no idea that a massive alien fleet was approaching. Life continued as normal. Cities busy, families eating dinner, children going to school. But far above, hidden among the stars, something else was happening. Humanity had not been blind. For years, they had detected strange signals from deep space. They had noticed patterns, movements, radio waves, alien noise. The United Earth Space Command, or UESC, had quietly prepared for something like this. In a secret base on the moon, human commanders stared at the radar screen. The lead officer, Admiral Elena Cross, stood with arms crossed. Her voice was calm but cold. "They're coming." The room fell silent. One officer asked, "Should we alert Earth?" Elena shook her head. "Not yet. Let's see what they bring." She turned toward the giant viewing window. Outside, a dark shape floated silently. A new kind of human ship. A ship never seen before by alien or human eyes. It was called the HFY Titan. Made with advanced armor, powered by energy cores never used in war before, the Titan was Earth's final defense, and its greatest secret. And it was ready. Far across space, the Bravery fleet broke out of hyperspace and entered human space. Dozens of alien commanders laughed as they saw the small blue planet ahead. "Let the invasion begin," Veltor said with pride. But then something strange happened. Every scanner in every Bravery ship picked up a single signal. A massive energy source was moving toward them, fast. The signal was unlike anything they had seen before. Veltor narrowed his red eyes. "What is that?" His ship's AI answered in a cold voice. "Unknown human vessel, approaching." The arrival of the unknown. The Dravery fleet floated above the edge of Earth's space, ready for war. Thousands of alien ships stood like giants in the darkness. Their weapons were charged, their engines humming. Every soldier on board expected an easy fight, maybe no fight at all. But suddenly, the space around them changed. A strange wave of energy passed through the fleet. Lights flickered. Systems slowed for a second. Some screens glitched and turned black. The Dravery officers looked at one another, confused. "Report," Commander Jarek shouted. One officer answered with fear in his voice. "Something is coming. One ship, unknown design, unknown power source." The screen lit up again. A massive object slowly came into view. It wasn't there a second ago, but now it was moving straight toward them. At first, it looked like an asteroid, dark, silent, with no lights. But as it got closer, details became clearer. Sharp edges, thick armor plates, long-range cannons tucked inside hidden panels, a glowing blue ring at the rear. It was not an asteroid. It was a human battleship. And it was massive. The Dravery had seen many warships across the galaxy, but this was different. It didn't follow any design they knew. It didn't send a message. It didn't raise shields. It just moved, slowly, confidently, like it had nothing to fear. Inside the alien command ship, Veltor stood frozen. For the first time in many years, he felt uncertain. "What is that thing?" he asked. The answer came back from his sensors. "Vessel class unknown. No record in Galactic database. Energy level extremely high, possibly unstable." Then something strange happened. The battleship stopped, right in the center of the Dravery fleet. Not on the edge, not hiding. Right in the middle of enemy space, alone. The Dravery ships surrounded it, weapons locked, but the ship didn't react. The silence made the aliens nervous. It felt wrong. Too calm. Jarek whispered, "Is this a trap?" Veltor's red eyes locked on the strange ship. "Fire one plasma round. Test its defense." One of the alien ships obeyed. A bright bolt of green plasma shot forward, straight at the human ship. Everyone watched. The plasma hit the side of the Titan and vanished. No explosion, no damage, nothing. The energy was simply absorbed. Inside the Titan, Admiral Elena Cross stood with her officers, calm, focused. "They fired," an officer reported. Elena didn't blink. "Of course they did. Prepare the signal." Back in the alien fleet, panic started to rise. The Dravery had never seen a ship eat plasma like that. It was impossible. "How did it do that?" Jarek growled. "That was a direct hit." Before anyone could answer, a light flickered on the front of the human ship. It was a simple message, sent in every galactic language. "Leave now. This is your only warning." The Dravery command room went silent. A warning from one ship. Veltor's pride burned. "Send fighters. 10 squadrons. Test their weapons." Within seconds, dozens of Dravery fighters launched from hangars and flew toward the Titan. Fast, sharp, deadly. Each pilot was trained for war. They expected an easy strike. They never got close. Without firing a visible weapon, the Titan activated something new, an invisible defense grid. The fighters blinked out of existence mid-flight, one by one. No explosions, no noise, just gone. The alien officers stared at their screens in horror. The entire attack squad, erased. Jarek's voice shook. "What kind of weapon is that?" Veltor didn't answer. His mind raced. Fear crept in, something he hadn't felt in years. The Titan moved slightly, only a few meters, but the entire Dravery fleet flinched. Then they saw the human ship powering up its main weapons. It didn't aim. It didn't speak. It simply waited, as if it already knew the aliens would make the wrong choice. First contact. For a full minute, nothing moved in space. The alien fleet, once full of noise and pride, had gone silent. Thousands of Draveri soldiers stood frozen, staring at the massive human battleship. The Titan floated calmly in the middle of their fleet, glowing softly with blue energy. It didn't speak again. It didn't move. It just waited. And somehow, that was worse than any attack. Inside the Draveri flagship, Commander Jarek's voice was low and tense. We lost all fighters. Not one returned. What did that ship do to them? His second-in-command answered with wide eyes. There were no explosions. It was like they were deleted. Deleted. The word echoed in the control room. Veltor, the High Commander, clenched his fists. He could feel fear spreading through his crew. They were warriors, trained since birth. But this ship, this human creation, didn't fight like anything they knew. It didn't follow rules. It made its own. Prepare a strike, Veltor ordered. We will hit it with everything we have. More than 100 alien warships aimed their weapons at the Titan. Lasers, plasma bolts, gravity torpedoes, all charging at once. In space, the silence broke. Thousands of lights lit up as the alien ships opened fire. Bright green and red energy bolts flew in every direction, crashing toward the Titan like a burning storm. But then, the storm stopped. As the blasts reached the Titan, a ripple of transparent energy burst out from the ship's surface, like a silent wave in water. Every weapon that touched the shield stopped. No damage, no effect. It was as if the ship existed in a different reality. Inside the Titan, Admiral Elena Cross stood still, watching calmly. Shield integrity, she asked. Stable at 100%, replied her officer. Elena gave a small nod. Let them waste their fire. We'll respond when they're finished showing off. Back in the Draveri fleet, panic turned into confusion. We hit it with everything, shouted one alien gunner. It's still standing. Not even a scratch. Veltor felt something in his chest. A tightness. Not anger, not pride. Fear. Send a communication to the ship, he growled. We will ask who commands it. A signal was sent. The Titan finally responded with one line of text. This ship is commanded by Earth. You entered our space. This is your last chance. Jarek's voice cracked. They still think they can scare us with one ship. Veltor stared at the message. Something was wrong. Deep inside, he began to understand. This wasn't just a ship. It was a message. A warning. A symbol. But it was too late. From the front of the Titan, panels opened. 4 long, sleek cannons extended from the hull. A quiet hum filled the air as glowing light built around the weapons. Elena Cross gave the order. Target the 4 nearest destroyers. No kill shots. Just let them know we're serious. Outside, the cannons fired. There was no loud sound. No bright explosions. Just thin beams of white energy. Fast. Quiet. Perfect. And then, 4 Draveri destroyers shut down completely. Their engines died. Weapons went offline. Lights blinked out. They didn't explode. They simply stopped existing as warships. They floated in space, dead and powerless. The Titan did not move closer. It didn't need to. Veltor stared at the wrecks. His hands shook. This had never happened before. Never. What is this technology? He whispered. Who gave the humans this power? Tarnak, the young officer who had warned them earlier, stepped forward. They gave it to themselves, he said quietly. They built it. We were too busy laughing at them to notice. Now, no one was laughing. The Draveri fleet was silent again. But this time, they were afraid. Truly afraid. Because they had just seen what humanity was capable of. And they knew this was only the beginning. The message from Earth. For the first time in their long, violent history, the Dravery didn't know what to do. They had faced war, rebellion, and resistance before. But this human battleship didn't fight for survival. It didn't beg. It warned. And its warning wasn't loud. It was quiet, cold, controlled. That made it worse. Veltor stood frozen inside his command ship, watching 4 of his destroyers drift uselessly in space. No damage, no flames, just silence. His empire had never seen defeat like this, especially not from a species they once called primitive. He tried to regain control. "Prepare the next wave of ships," he ordered, voice sharp. But no one moved. Even Commander Jarek, his most loyal officer, hesitated. "Sir, if we attack again, we may not return." "Cowardice," Veltor snapped. Jarek looked down. Logic. Then a second message came from the human ship. But this time, it wasn't text. It was a video. The image appeared on every Dravery screen, across every ship in the fleet. A human woman stood at the center of the screen. Calm, strong, and dressed in a black UESC uniform with silver markings. Behind her stood the symbol of Earth, one blue planet inside a ring of stars. Her voice was steady, her eyes sharp. "This is Admiral Elena Cross of that HSS Titan. You have entered human space with weapons drawn. This is not an act of exploration. It is invasion. We will not allow it." She stepped forward slightly. "We know who you are, Dravery. We've watched your conquests. We've seen what you do to weak planets. You thought Earth would be next." Her expression hardened. "You were wrong." The message cut off. Just like that. No threat. No shouting. No desperate plea. Just truth. And the silence that followed was heavier than any weapon. Inside the Dravery command ship, no one spoke. Even Veltor didn't move. His fingers clenched the edge of his war table. His pride was hurt, but more than that, his control over the fleet was slipping. Tarnak, the young officer, spoke carefully. "We came to scare them, but they didn't run. We fired first. And they warned us, gave us a chance. Twice." Zarek added, "That ship is just one. What if they've built more?" The question hung in the air like a shadow. Across the fleet, many Dravery captains secretly powered down their weapons. Some began turning their ships ever so slightly, just enough to retreat if needed. Veltor saw it happening. "No," he shouted. "We are the Dravery Empire. We do not run." But no one was listening. Then something unexpected happened. The Titan began to move. Slowly, silently, it rotated to face the largest Dravery warship, Veltor's flagship. It didn't fire. It didn't send a message. It just stared. A single human ship, staring down an empire. The unspoken message was clear. "You're next." Veltor's heart pounded. For a moment, he considered ordering full firepower, launching every last weapon in a desperate attack. But deep inside, he knew the truth. If the Titan wanted to destroy them, it could. And Earth would not mourn his fleet. Earth would move forward. It wasn't weakness that kept humans quiet. It was power under control. Finally, Veltor turned to his crew. His voice cracked. "Signal all ships. Full retreat." The Dravery fleet began to pull back, slowly at first, then faster. Their engines lit up, their weapons powered down, and ship by ship, the dark empire fled. They didn't leave with honor. They didn't leave with pride. They left with fear. And behind them, the Titan stayed still, watching, protecting Earth. The turning point, the stars returned to silence. The Dravery fleet, once proud and undefeated, was gone. They didn't say goodbye. They didn't fire another shot. They just turned and vanished into deep space. But the silence wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. It was the sound of a galaxy shifting. Inside the Titan, Admiral Elena Cross stood in front of the main viewing screen. Earth floated peacefully below, unaware of what had just happened above. Her crew was quiet, not because they were afraid, but because they understood what had just occurred. Earth had faced one of the most feared empires in the galaxy, and made it run, not with numbers, not with noise, but with power and patience. Elena turned to her officers. Status: systems green. Shields fully charged. No damage. Elena nodded. Good. Keep scanning. We're not done. Everyone in the room understood her meaning. Yes, the Dravery had run, but that didn't mean they were gone forever. Far away, in deep space, the broken Dravery fleet regrouped. Veltor sat alone in his chamber, staring at a screen that no longer showed Earth, but the Titan. He had recorded the human ship, studied it, replayed the battle over and over. This shouldn't have happened, he whispered. In front of him, the top science officers tried to explain what they saw. That ship was more than a battleship, Commander. It had technology beyond anything we know. Energy absorption, cloaking systems, precision weapons, possibly even dimensional shielding. Veltor shook his head. How did they build it? How did we not see this coming? The room was silent. Then one officer answered, because we never looked. Back on Earth, deep beneath the surface in a hidden UESC bunker, the true story of the Titan was being revealed. It wasn't just a ship. It was a project that took 30 years to build, a secret effort by all the nations of Earth, working together after detecting strange alien signals decades ago. While the world argued on the surface, scientists and engineers worked underground, building something no human had ever imagined. Not to conquer, not to start wars, but to survive what they knew was coming. The Titan was built using alien tech from old crashed ships, deep AI research, quantum engineering, and the minds of Earth's best people. It was more than metal and energy. It was a message in the shape of a ship. Humanity will not kneel. Inside the Titan, Admiral Elena walked the long metallic corridors, checking in with her crew. Young officers, veteran engineers, AI technicians, all focused, all silent. She paused outside the war room. A small group of commanders were inside, discussing what came next. One of them asked, "Should we celebrate? We made the Dravery retreat." Elena stared out the window at the stars. "Not yet," she said. "Today, we showed them our strength. Tomorrow, they may return with more." She turned slowly. "But now, the galaxy knows. Earth has entered the game." The other officers nodded. Another commander added, "And we didn't enter as prey. We entered as a power." A new message was sent from Earth. This one wasn't a warning. It was a broadcast, sent across open space, in every known frequency and language. To any who watch, listen closely. We are the people of Earth. We seek peace, but we are not afraid of war. We do not rule worlds. We protect our own. If you come in peace, we will welcome you. If you come with weapons, we will meet you in kind. We are ready. And with that, humanity stepped forward from the shadows. No longer hidden, no longer ignored. The galaxy had changed. The balance of power had shifted, and Earth was no longer a silent world on the edge of space. It was a voice, a force, a turning point. Fear echoes across the stars. Across the galaxy, the stars whispered a new name: Earth. Worlds that had never spoken of humans before now spoke of them with fear and respect. In distant systems, traders told wild stories. A single human warship stopped an empire. It didn't speak much. It didn't need to. It erased ships like they were never there. And though every tale grew larger with each telling, one thing never changed. The Titan was real. On the icy world of Nahus Prime, a reptilian ambassador listened to the reports with wide, blinking eyes. "The humans did what?" he asked. The answer came quietly. "They made the Dravery run. The ambassador dropped his glass. On a rich world near the galactic core, a council of old, powerful species met in secret. One elder whispered, "We ignored Earth. We thought them small." Another replied, "That was our mistake. And now, they are watching us." The room fell silent, because it was true. Earth had not attacked. Earth had not claimed territory. But Earth had shown something far more dangerous. Strength held in patience. Power that waited and warned. Back on Earth, there were no fireworks. No big parades. The public didn't even know the full story. Only the top officials and military leaders knew what had happened above the planet. The Titan returned to its base near the moon, silently docking inside its hidden hangar. Admiral Elena Cross walked down the main corridor one last time before taking a moment to rest. She stood alone, looking at Earth through the observation window. One officer approached quietly. "Ma'am, the galaxy is watching now. What do we do next?" Elena didn't turn her head. She kept her eyes on the blue planet below. "We stay ready. We build more Titans. And we listen." She paused. "Because fear is powerful, but respect is stronger. And we want the galaxy to respect humanity, not just fear it." Far away, in unknown corners of the galaxy, strange eyes watched the humans. Old empires, silent watchers, beings that hadn't moved in centuries. And now, they'd whispered to each other. "The humans have awakened. A new force has entered the stars." One ship changed everything. On Dravari Prime, Veltor stood before his emperor, ashamed, defeated. "They were not what we expected," Veltor said quietly. "They were worse." The emperor looked at the stars. "We will return, but not soon." Veltor nodded. "They'll be ready." The emperor answered, "They already are." And so the legend of the Titans spread, not as a story of war, but as a turning point in galactic history. Humans were no longer seen as weak or slow. Now, they were the wild card, the unknown, the force you didn't want to provoke. Because when the human battleship arrived, even empires froze.